Have you ever been on a date or talking to a woman and suddenly the energy just goes away? 1 second, things are going really well, and the next, you can feel the interest just sort of disappear. From a woman's perspective, the reality is there are phrases and behaviors that women notice instantly, and they are total turnoffs. Some of these might surprise you, but I think knowing them can completely change the way that you come across and massively improve your chances of building attraction. If you're new here, hi, I'm Courtney Ryan, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to avoid and how to keep her engaged, curious, and genuinely interested. The first thing we want to avoid is overused or cliche lines. One of the biggest mistakes that men make is leaning on those cliche pickup lines or sort of just generic compliments. Phrases like, hey beautiful, what's up sexy, or you're different from other girls might feel flattering or like the right thing to say, but they almost always have the opposite effect. A lot of women hear these lines all the time, especially online, and they immediately signal a lack of thought or originality. Using cliches makes it feel like you're just sort of going through the motions instead of actually trying to connect with her. Women want to feel seen and noticed and honestly unique. A specific thoughtful comment, of course, depending on the situation that you're in, pointing out a unique piece of jewelry, a book, a clever detail in her outfit can make a huge difference. Instead of those standard cliche lines, try something like, I love your watch. Does it have a story behind it? Or, I noticed you ordered a vanilla latte. Is that your go-to? I've been looking for something new to try. Or, you seem to really be enjoying insert activity that she's doing. How did you get into it? Legitimately anything that shows that you're paying attention and actually curious is so much better than hey, hi, what's up sexy, or what's up beautiful. Cut it out with the cliches. Number 2, self-deprecation gone too far. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities that a man can have. Lines like, oh, I'm such a loser, or I'll never find anyone, I'm terrible at this, signal insecurity to her. A little self-deprecating humor can be charming, but if it dominates your entire personality, it comes across as incredibly needy or like you're just constantly fishing for validation, which is a turnoff. Women are drawn to men who own their flaws without making them the centerpiece of the conversation. Light humor and self-awareness are appealing, but overdoing it flips the effect, making you seem insecure rather than relatable. For example, jokingly saying, well, I make the worst pancakes ever, so you're safe ordering breakfast with me, is endearing. It's playful, it shows confidence, it makes you seem relatable. But spending 5 minutes talking about how chaotic your life is, how much you hate your job, and how you're such a loser, that's draining. Real confidence isn't about acting perfect or arrogant. It's just about being comfortable with who you are, quirks and all. And I promise you're not a loser. Stop calling yourself a loser. If you say that, people are going to think it. Third thing we've got to stop doing is bragging and flexing. Over-the-top bragging is just as unattractive as self-deprecation. Constantly talking about money, accomplishments, skills, who you know, can signal insecurity rather than confidence. When a man feels the need to validate himself verbally, it comes across as trying too hard, and women are going to notice that. There's a subtle difference between sharing an achievement and flaunting it. For example, saying something like, I just finished a project at work that I'm really proud of, is natural and relatable. It gives her insight into your life without overloading the conversation, but leading with statements like, I make 6 figures, I'm amazing at everything, and everybody loves me, immediately feels boastful and pretty off-putting. It's less about impressing her and more about trying to prove your worth, which is the opposite of magnetic. Women respond to authenticity and humility. Let your personality, your humor, your interests, your achievements do the talking. When achievements are shared naturally in context, they enhance your character instead of completely defining it. Staying grounded, self-assured, and genuinely curious about her creates far more attraction than any list of accomplishments ever could. The fourth thing here is talking about exes too soon. Bringing up past relationships early on is sort of a major red flag. Even casual or joking sort of comments about exes like, my ex was crazy, or I can't believe she did this, can send the wrong message. They suggest that you might not be fully over your past, or even worse, that you're unconsciously comparing her to your ex. Either way, it can make her feel judged, uncomfortable, or inadequate. Women want to feel like the person that they're with is fully present and genuinely focused on them. Even a small mention of an ex can signal a lingering emotional baggage, which can quickly kill the connection. Early conversations should instead center around your shared interests, experiences, and building a connection in the present moment between the two of you. Save the discussions about past relationships for later on once trust and context are established. Your early conversation should make her feel seen, appreciated, and excited to spend time with you and get to know you, not like she's walking in to someone else's dating history. Number 5, complaining or negativity. Constant complaining is draining, even if the issues you bring up are relatable. Talking about work frustrations, traffic, minor life annoyances can quickly make a conversation feel heavy rather than fun. Women want to be around someone who adds energy and positivity to their day, especially in those early interactions. We don't want to be a negative Nelly. It's not about pretending that life is perfect. It's just about framing challenges lightly or using a little bit of humor. For example, instead of venting, you can make a playful observation about a frustrating situation. Saying something like, "I think my coffee machine is conspiring against me this morning," keeps things relatable and lighthearted. You're still sort of complaining, but you're keeping it light. Negativity early on can also signal emotional baggage or pessimism, which may make her feel like she's taking on an emotional load before a real connection is even built. Save those deeper conversations about stress or hardships for later, when trust and mutual understanding exist. Early interactions should energize, entertain, and leave her looking forward to more. Again, we don't want to be a negative Nelly. Someone who is constantly negative all the time just comes across as an energy vampire and is really exhausting to be around. Again, I'm not saying you can never complain. It's okay to complain every now and then, but if you're consistently just trying to relate to her by complaining about things or being negative, it's not a good sign. And she'll probably see it as a bit of a red flag. Number 6, trying to one-up or dominate the conversation. Trying to always outshine her or dominate the conversation is a subtle but powerful turnoff. Constantly correcting her, interrupting, or turning every story into a competition communicates that you care more about appearing impressive than connecting genuinely with her. Balanced conversation is the key. Women want to feel seen, understood, and appreciated. Listening actively and asking thoughtful questions demonstrates intelligence, emotional maturity, and respect. For example, if she talks about a recent hike that she went on, resist the urge to jump in with, "Well, I did one 10 times harder than you last week." Whoa. Instead, just show curiosity. "Oh, that sounds amazing. What part of the hike did you enjoy the most? Where did you go?" Anything else. Dominating the conversation can create tension and reduce emotional safety. Connection grows from empathy, shared interests, and authentic engagement, not trying to win the interaction or always one-up her. When she feels heard, she is far more likely to open up to you, laugh, and actually enjoy the interaction. Number 7, overly sexual comments too soon. This is one that happens way too often. Jumping into sexual comments or innuendos early on can make a woman feel very uncomfortable. Even if intended as playful, these remarks often signal desperation, boundary pushing, or just a lack of respect for her comfort. Women want to feel like the connection is based on more than just a physical attraction. Women want to be appreciated for other things too. Sexual attention develops naturally when there's a mutual comfort, trust, and attraction there. For example, flirting is way more effective when it's subtle and contextually appropriate. Playful teasing, light humor, gentle banter, comments about her body or sexual intentions too soon completely bypass any emotional connection there and risk making her uncomfortable. Patience pays off. Focus on building rapport, shared energy, and curiosity first. Genuine attraction flows from emotional connection, not a rushed innuendo. And again, this is something that I see way too much online, which is why I even included it in this video because it's so common. It's just a bad look and I would not recommend doing it. From a woman's perspective, it's an ick. Number 8, talking about yourself nonstop. Dominating the conversation by talking only about yourself signals self-centeredness and can make early interactions exhausting. Even if your stories are interesting, the lack of reciprocal engagement is going to make her feel unseen. Women are drawn to men who are genuinely curious and attentive. Asking questions, engaging with her experiences, and linking your stories to hers shows emotional intelligence and interest. For example, if you share something about a trip that you have coming up, ask her in return if she has any travel plans or if she's been anywhere lately. Conversation should feel like a collaboration, a back and forth where both people contribute, share, and laugh. Oversharing too soon or monopolizing the dialogue is going to create an imbalance. Connection grows when attention, curiosity, and shared energy are prioritized over impressing or totally dominating the conversation. Women notice those small things that communicate confidence, respect, and attentiveness. Avoid cliches over self-deprecation, bragging, talking about exes, negativity, dominating the conversation, making sexual comments too soon, or only talking about yourself. Instead, focus on being authentic, curious, and fully present. These subtle behaviors make you magnetic in a natural way. If you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more insights on dating, confidence, and becoming your best self. If you haven't already, also be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.